from him, you animal!
Good idea. Clever.
Ah, Poopsnicker. I enjoyed this. But now that you've helped me learn out my true target, your usefulness has expired. I'm glad you've resisted this much, Yuri. That means by the time these concepts are cemented in your brain and you make the adjustments, you will feel more justified for enacting them. So you stopped taking my videos seriously when I mixed stock count limit with cell amount. So 1 minute in the entire 6-minute video, I don't think you took it seriously before you even clicked on the video. And you have the fucking gall to say I don't know how the mod works? Is the ultimate design then supposed to be dead? Because I haven't seen a PB iteration that gets past the 3 period before the population stays permanently in the double digits. Would you like to elaborate on how it's atrocious gameplay design? Would you like to explain why every PE iteration from 2023 into 2024 still had a longer population retention? It's comical you use the word atrocious, because for some reason every time a player recounts their favorite Bannerlord PX experience, it's always from Gopherk and Persistent Empires. So since you didn't take it seriously after the 1 minute mark, is that your rebuttal to shield yourself from the obvious design flaws that I later pointed out in that essay? That PB's barrier of entry is so retardedly exclusive to no-lifers that casual players can't even dedicate spontaneous sessions to the server? I mean, Yuri, you put on an open-minded mask by pretending to be willing to experiment with features, but only to the safe extent of not crossing the red lines on your perception of what PW was. I'm so glad you brought this obtuse argument up, because it's the same unperceptive idiocy I had to argue with Bill and Downling about. No mod dominated multiplayer in the year of 2023 more than PE. The beta went on for 6 months straight before it died, and then at the end of 2023 it exploded again with the Asmongold era. Again, when has a single PB iteration lasted more than 4 weeks? What's hilarious is that you try to weaponize PE's discontinued state as an argument, which literally acknowledges that you have zero competition. So, is your next argument going to be that Bannerlord is just dead? Is that what you're telling the 1500 in the NA Discord and the 3000 in the EU one? Isn't Bannerlord what you always blame your persistent crashes on?
How long can you keep this up?
You ran a survey and half your population wanted inventory, and you didn't include it? Would you like to know why half your population wanted it? Go ahead and go back to Poopsnicker scolding at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And by the way, please try this poll on NA. Also, why isn't the other half of those players that voted against it not playing, by the way? Yes, they will halt you harder. Do you realize that means they stay in the server? I already explained to you that halting is just a mini war in PX settings. With this, you are literally trying to say that people remaining on a server to play Bannerlord, i.e. halting, is bad. Furthermore, I explained to you why the vision of PW is flawed, and if you were actually following it, there wouldn't even be banks. That's if you actually wanted to respect Vorn's original design, but you don't, and you shouldn't, because PW was intrinsically dogshit, and that is why it was later replaced by PK. PK wasn't even great either. Would you like me to give you a great indicator on how to tell if your gaming experience sucks or not? Imagine you're a dad. Imagine your father sitting at your desk and asking him to play PB. He'd probably have a pretty miserable time because the entry barrier is so enormous that would have to expend the first few days of his experience just trying to min-max an optimal playstyle because of banking, drop on death, the scarcity of resources, and the dog shit rules that are ever increasing because all those 3 aspects. Now imagine your dad getting on Gopherk during PE's Foxhole style beta in 2023. A server where resources were stacked so quickly that getting a weapon and finding a fight was so simple, even he could learn how to play the entire game in just an hour's time. The reason PB is dead as dog shit is because your dad is the new population, and the new population doesn't want to read a massive retarded rule handbook and have to spend time going back and forth to the bank and worry if they will even be able to make gold or not. So yes, PW, PK, and PB are inferior. And also yes, you could still have a resource gathering, stake-inducing gameplay flow that these people can play. Unfortunately, this specific window was only in an unintended 5-week test, and yet to this day it has more recognition and remembrance than any PX iteration, and that is why your attempt to recreate PW has none. Simplifying the equation will literally make the experience better for all player archetypes, because halters will be able to get what they want and more of it, and serfs will not be as devastated since resources would be easy to acquire, so they lose less. Can you imagine the amount of new people that came into your mod, spent 20 minutes surfing, then lost all their progress because another player wanted their resources? It's not the halter's fault, it's the dogshit design that made surfing take 20 minutes because the scarcity and inability to quickly acquire the resources in the first place. Could you imagine if it took less than 5? Well, it would if it didn't take 20 swings on a node to get a single ore. You're right, people shouldn't spend a ridiculous amount of time surfing and crafting, just like you shouldn't spend time worrying about how balanced the inevitable inflated economy is. You have absolutely tortured your civilian roleplay players, ironically by imposing these lengthy crafting recipes, on top of the time it takes to craft, in addition to the fact that they do not even get rewarded for it. If you'd like to see the perfect crafting system, take a look at this clip here.
Take these twigs, this small rock, and my bubble gum.
At first glance, this looks ridiculous, but that philosophy literally brings in the casual population that you need. You don't have it because you still think that items requiring arduous effort makes exhilarating gameplay, because you think roleplay-oriented PW-based gaming was good. We'll take a good fucking gander at the results. I know your story, Yuri, how you approached the PE devs and they didn't want your help, so you sought to make your own PX mod. I am no different. I gave you a well-thought-out guide for PB's design, not a suggestion. A suggestion is asking for RP animations. My analysis was an entire iterate blueprint on how to design the perfect PX mod. Now, a particular question comes to mind of the PX listener when they hear this statement. What qualifies Ducky to assert that he knows the perfect system? The answer is that I am a failure. Like you, Yuri, in 2017 there was a PW server called Celestial that was owned by one of your fellow PB developers, X7 Dragon. He listened to my suggestion to remove banking. I was staunch on retaining PW's natural 20% drop on death because, like you, I thought Vorn's natural design was perfect, but suffice it to say, it was disastrous. Fast forward 6 years, PE came out. I quickly noted that the beta did not have banks because Aaron's foxhole philosophy was still implemented, and I noted how much fun it was. But I also noted that it did not have gold dropped on death. At this point, I wasn't sure if DoD was necessary. This is why in my banking video, one of the 3 economical suggestions was to make it 1 to 5%. As it turns out, it was an improvement over banks, but it was not superior to a system simply devoid of it. The best system would not be gold dropped on death, but transferred gold on death. My proposition to both you and Aaron. This would bring people back out of their castles because now everyone would know that a halt is guaranteed gold or a fight. A guarantee is what guarantees retention, and a PB session never has a guarantee.
So pretty. Such a waste.